Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, here with Matthew to talk about the challenge, Season 40, Episode 11, Payback Era. Another good episode, Matthew. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. To be honest, I was not the biggest fan of this episode personally. Um, so it wasn't my favorite of the season. It was fine, I would say, but I feel like it's just becoming a little bit too top heavy for me. It's like there's a few people just kind of carrying the entire season on their backs, and I think
Who are these
last week it was
people?
pretty fun.
Who's
I
carrying
think
this season?
Bananas, certainly. Bananas, Rachel, Tori, Laurel, uh, Kyland, I guess in a way. But a lot of the others to me just are not providing as much as I'd like. Like I'd like there to be a bit of an even spread. Like I think Bananas is doing a lot and he's riling people up, but even the people he's riling up are not like being like completely like entertaining for me. And then there's other people that are just kind of invisible. Like even someone like Cara Maria, like pretty quiet. Like she chimes in like once an episode to throw a dig at Bananas, which I like, but she's been pretty quiet. People like Nehemiah and Theo are basically invisible. Um, so I'd like to see things spread out a little bit more, but I can appreciate the work that someone like Bananas is putting in here to do everything in his power to make sure we're entertained. So kudos to him on that, but I'm a little disappointed in some of the others.
I mean, I see what you're saying. You definitely want the drama with these seasons, and like I do like the drama. I do, but I also like kind of like a well-rounded storytelling episode, and so that's one of the reasons why I like the episode is because I feel like it had like a really good beginning, middle, and end, and how it's kind of leads into the next episode. It just has some legs and directions to go in. So I felt like I was taken on like a journey, and I enjoyed the journey that I was on. But absolutely, if I was looking at all the players being very entertaining, nah. But like story wise, I thought that it was a well told story of an episode, personally.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I think part of the reason it was well told was because the outcomes were so obvious, which was another thing I didn't necessarily love. I
That's
mean, like
what it took the wind out of my sails. I even messaged you being like, man, this elimination isn't annoying you as much as it's annoying me. Because I felt that I wanted to see them really competing back and forth and being on the edge of my seat and not knowing who I wanted to come or to win. And it was very obvious the whole time what was going to happen. And so I think the ending in that way, yeah, it was a little bit of a letdown, but all in all, for me, I thought it was a decent episode.
yeah, I feel like by the end of the episode, it was just like we were waiting 30 minutes just to find out who is Michelle going to put as a target with Bananas. And it's like, all right, one commercial break, two commercial break, three commercial break. All right, who's going to be the target with Bananas? And we know Michelle is going to win. Is she going to go with like someone like a Jordan, or is she going to go? Like, I figured it was going to be Nehemiah. I didn't know like was it going to be Derek and Nehemiah? Is she going to go Jordan? So um, bit of a wait to get to
Well,
that point.
not
And then
going to
even the
be
daily, I thought,
it's not going to be Derek though, because Derek seems like he's going to be joining the Ladies of Leisure at this point. So he has that close friendship with Olivia, and so I think that he's going to be kind of brought in and protected by that group. Or well, I guess the Ladies of Leisure is just Michelle and Olivia, but I think he's replacing Naya.
yeah. I mean, I was thinking maybe it would have been Corey. I didn't think Michelle was gonna do Jordan just because I didn't think she would want to piss Jordan off, just in the off chance he does go in. Um, so I thought maybe it was gonna be Corey, but she did end up going Jordan, which I think is interesting. Only problem is next week it does appear to be a mini final, and I feel like Jordan will probably
Jordan's
win
gonna win
that.
that. like 1 million. Like you see him in the trailer carrying Theo. So I feel as though they're probably in the front of it, and he's just trying to prevent Theo from being purged out, I guess.
Oh
Um,
yeah, well they said there was a purge, so I guess next week we'll be losing three people. Um, 2 people purged and then one of these men, which
You think that's how it's gonna go?
I would imagine. I
Not
unless
4?
they
Like,
just
not an
purge
even number?
one.
Like 2 guys, 2 girls? Oh, so you're thinking, oh,
Well,
3 in the
it's gonna
purge
be a
and then
single
1 in the
elimination.
I see.
No, 2 in the purge
Oh.
and then 1 in the elimination.
Oh, like, okay, I guess then it keeps it going back and forth, and then it will be uneven for the girls to go in next. Okay.
That's what I would assume, yeah, because they still have the targets, so which makes me think there'll be at least one other round after of targets.
So, you think the
Um,
bottom male, bottom female will go home, basically, from
unless
the
it's just
purge?
one woman gets purged, but
No, I don't that doesn't make
I
any
don't
sense.
think they'll do
It would
that.
either be 2 or 4, you know what I mean? Like, they might do 4. They
Yeah,
could be vicious. How many people are left? Do you remember?
I think it'll be 16.
16 left. And we're on what it'll be episode 12. So probably 6 episodes or so. Do we know how
13.
many
If they do a
episodes?
final with, I don't know. I would assume, I think last season there was 18. I would assume it's going to be the same, if not more. Um, so I think it does make sense. At the end of episode 12, we would have 13 people. 13, we would have 12 people. And then that would take us 14, 15, 16 to get to 10. And then they could do, if it could be a final with 8 people, or they could do a 3-part final, or 2-part. I hope it's not a 3-part final. It'll definitely be 2, but hopefully not 3.
Yeah, I feel like this purge is going to be bigger. It might be 2 men and 2 women going home. And then I think it spreads it out a little bit better.
Why? What would be the What would be the difference, though?
Well, because like you wouldn't have 5 people at the final last 3 episodes. It'd be 4 or whatever at the final. You know what I mean? Like it'd just be like one. We'd have one more episode of the regular format instead of having an
I
extra couple at the end.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily just gonna be one more episode. I could see it being 3 episodes still after with this format, to get rid of another 2 women and then 1 more man, which would be 4 episodes, and then there would still be 10 people left. I don't know. I just don't. I'd be kind of upset if they got rid of 4 people at once here. To me, that's just too excessive.
Fair, but they might want to be shocking, and it won't be that shocking. It'll just be like, because at this point we know then that it's going to be Aviv is going home, and everybody else is going to be saved. You know, I don't know. I just feel like
I could see. I don't think necessarily Aviv. I think I could see Olivia losing a purge.
but with Aviv even talking about the fact that she hopes that Shis can do anything but running.
Yeah, I guess she's got a foot issue. Um, yeah, I guess like Aviv. I wouldn't be shocked if it was Aviv. For the men, I think it's interesting. I mean, it seems like Theo could be in some trouble. Josh obviously is someone I'd be a little worried about in a purge situation. Is there anyone else on the male side? I feel like Derek will be okay. He's pretty good with running. I feel like he's decent with
How do people
puzzles.
looking at how people placed in the last daily when they had to run in the heat? I feel like that's going to be pretty similar to how they'd probably uh, pan out in this one. So in that case, Derek might not do so well.
Yeah, but the only thing is, it showed in the preview that they were doing some sort of like paddling in the water,
That's true.
and Derek said he
Good
was
in the
good in the
water.
water, and Theo lost the like opener
That's
where it
true.
was like heavily paddled. So I
Also, then
definitely be
Corey
worried
might
about
not do that
Theo.
well because he's not that great in that type of stuff as well, right? Or he's okay. He's okay.
I feel like Corey won the opener, so he won
Did he?
the Era
The
Invitational.
Invitational?
Yeah, so he even beat out like Jordan. The only problem is Corey's like not good with puzzles, so I imagine if it's a mini final, there'll be some sort of puzzle at the end. It's interesting. I think on the male side, it's more up in the air. On the female side, it's kind of clear cut to me. Like I think the 2 people I'm looking at are Aviv and
And Olivia.
Olivia as the 2 potential.
Yeah, I don't really see anybody doing worse than them, unless Michelle is not actually that great at endurance, because she was saying that Banana says that I suck at endurance. So maybe. And she didn't do
Mhm.
well in that daily where they had to run in the heat. Neither did Olivia, but
Yeah.
yeah, they both weren't great. So it kind of would depend on who's going to be the best at the other stuff, which, yeah, I would give Michelle an upper hand over Olivia with other things. Matthew, though, maybe you want to address your background change here. MV here saying Amanda coming taught wait, coming to the reunion just to troll is going to be so funny. So Matthew, your wish came true. All the haters saying that she left so early, she doesn't make an impact on the season. Why would she be invited? She left so long ago. What do you have to say?
I have to say, if you don't understand, if people don't understand at this point why Amanda gets invited, uh, then I hate to break it to you. You might not understand the very show that you're watching because Amanda in 2.5 episodes, if you count episode 0, had more confessionals than many people that made it past there. She had more storylines, more drama. And yeah, everyone last week that was saying she shouldn't be invited to the reunion, or like there's no point of having her there. Clearly production felt otherwise. And she obviously made enough of an impact to get the call to the reunion as a surprise, by the way. The rest of the cast truly did not know she was going to be there, which was confirmed by Ryan and Olivia. That they did keep this under wraps, and she came apparently on day 2 of the reunion. So Amanda had been binge watching the show in order to prepare for her surprise visit to the reunion. And I don't know if that's good news for people like Tori, Corey, Michelle. Um, I'm curious how Amanda is going to respond to the Laurel and Cara of it all, if she is even going to get involved in that. But Amanda will definitely have words for Tori and Corey in particular, I bet.
Sophie wants to know if you think that Amanda being invited to the reunion was a last minute decision by the producers. I think they planned to have
No.
her all along.
Yeah, I think they definitely would want her there. I think, again, like she had so many storylines in such a short period of time, and there's just so much carryover with her. Plus, like Amanda is someone that will be on future seasons, and if you can just, I think it's nice to have Amanda there because it's a reminder for that future season. 41, like let's say she's on 41, you want that reminder of, okay, yeah, Amanda does have beef with Corey, with Michelle, with Tori. So if on 41 or 42 they're all there, or some of them are there, there's that storyline.
Dabu says Amanda gonna troll Corey, who is still on the show. Guess his decision making isn't bad. It's got him further along, sure. Do you think he's gonna win? I don't
Uh,
know. He might.
I mean, I don't think being on the show is necessarily a sign that he made the right decision, considering he's been in 2 eliminations already. He doesn't have any numbers, and his own team was volunteering for elimination to save each other. But when he was up for grabs, nobody volunteered, which is a sign that he didn't have numbers. But yes, based on the format of the show, he is still in the game because he was mostly safe due to the format, because Era 1 kept losing. Era 3 was a pretty strong team. But Corey by no means is positioned well with allies. So I still don't think Corey made the right decision by any means.
Mary wants to
And
know
no,
what
I don't
show
think
can
Corey will win.
Amanda do better? Traitors, House of Villains, The Goat, Anonymous, The Circle. I'd like to see her on the Traitors. That could be kind of fun. House of Villains, I could see her on that, and The Goat. I could see her on all those 3. Anonymous, I don't think she'd care for that much. The Circle, I don't think she'd care for that much. The other ones, though, I think she gets to interact with people and be a little more fun. What do you want to see her on? Any of them?
Sure, I'll watch her on any of them. I think House of Villains certainly make the most sense. Traders, I would rather see her on because she'll get a bigger payday, I would presume. And I do think she'd be fun on Traders. Yeah, probably one of those two. I think more likely we would see her on House of Villains than Traitors, but
Hmm.
wouldn't be mad to see her on either.
Can we see Amanda on Big Brother? Maybe Big Brother UK or like Celebrity Big Brother UK. That would be more fun, I think. I'd like to see her on that. The regular Big Brother, it's kind of, I think it's not, in my opinion, her vibe. But I'd watch her on it. But I just don't think that she would enjoy herself on it, really. All right. Well, with this episode, Payback Era, we see Bananas returning to the house, gloating. But Tori just thinks that he's made 3 new enemies, and he doesn't do this in a classy way. Okay, what's your thought about how Bananas is dealing with like his targets and not being classy? Because there's this. I was watching another a group of people covering the season, and they felt that Bananas should have gone up to Tori really calmly and nicely and really like asked her and like wanting to align with her and just being like, we're good friends, and like and just kind of come in like a little more of a kinder way to kind of placate her and get her to keep him out from or get her to keep him from becoming a target. What do you think about that? And compared to how he actually went about it.
I think if he wanted to have a better chance of winning the game, sure. Uh, Although it would be incredibly boring and the season would suffer. And I think Bananas is at a point where, I mean, he even alluded to it tonight. He said, like, I am doing this, this, and that, but I still love the challenge. Like, I still love the game. And at one point, he even winks to the camera, as in, like, all right, I know what I'm doing is riling everyone up, and that's what I'm here to do. So, yes, like, if he wanted to have allies and advance his game, sure. Like, I think he could have made amends with Tori, and I think she would have been open to that. And Michelle and Olivia. I think he could have made amends with all of them, but I don't think he wanted to do that because I think he cares more about putting on a show, and that is what I appreciate as well. I think having the two sides of the house is much more interesting. I think he knows that too. Not to say that I honestly don't think he's horribly set up, just because he has a lot of strong women on his side. But I don't think this is necessarily the best thing for his game, but it is better for the TV show.
Absolutely. And I think for me, I don't know if Tori actually would have, kept him out of elimination at that point. Like, I don't think that that would have helped. And I don't know if he would want his brand to be somebody that, like, went and sucked up to Tori and then she was still like, haha, I'm still putting you in. And so I just don't think that he would want that either as an outcome. And for me,
Yeah,
just watching, I don't know. I prefer him not backing down to somebody that like that. I like the fact that he's standing up for himself and like being like whatever the fuck. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. I don't think it would have worked if he tried to do that before the elimination. But I
Exactly.
think what he could have done is after the elimination, if he said to Tori then, like, hey, like, I get it. You had to put me in. Um, you were doing what you thought was right. I'm not going to hold it against you. Um, but like, can we start over now? I think she would have been more receptive to that after the shot was already taken. But again, like, even that would have been much more boring. So I don't want to see everyone playing that game. I think far
Well,
too
like, do
many
you know
people
how
are
much it
playing that.
drives me crazy? Like in shows like this or Big Brother being like, oh, you're doing what you had to do and like no hard feelings. Like, have hard feelings. I'm gonna be pissed off. If you're gonna put me in, you're gonna have to deal with the wrath of me. That's the consequence. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna make it easy for you to fucking stab me in the back and take away potentially my shot at winning this game. Like, no, I'm not gonna make it easy for you. Sorry. Like, it's part of the game and you're making your choices and I'm not going to make it easier on you. So yeah, that's kind of also where I stand as well. Like, I hate the
Yeah.
whole, even Michelle does it this episode. I can understand why, obviously they're both of her best friends, blah blah blah, but like, make it hard for the person. I want them to have trouble to make these decisions.
Oh yeah, that's why I was so frustrated with most of the first half of the season too. It's like every week it was just 80% of people volunteering to go in. And it's like, all right, well, sure, like I get it. You're trying to make nice with everyone, but you're sucking the fun out of the game by just playing nice and volunteering. So it's like, to me, like stuff like that is just not fun. And I want people to be having fun with the game as it goes along. But yeah, like things like volunteering or not fighting for your spot in the game uh, is ultimately like boring. Um, so
Like they think
yeah,
it's bad
it's
sportsmanship, but it's also like actually it's pretty good sportsmanship to not make it easy on you to put my game in jeopardy, I think.
and also it's not a sport. So uh, if it was a sport and like people were like sulking and like and that would be a different story. But this is like a reality TV show where one, like you're getting paid based on the amount of time that you're there. Also, you're getting paid if you win. So, I mean, people should want to win, obviously, but also like create good TV. It's also, this isn't like Survivor too, where you play Survivor once and or Big Brother once, and then you never play again.
Mhm.
Most of these people we're gonna see play again. So, uh, like, I mean, unless they're boring and then they don't get a call back. So be fun, have like do well competitively and create good TV, and you'll get those callbacks for as long as you want them.
Well, and another thing too, if it was a sport, like you see people heckling each other in sports, like staring people down, like trying to intimidate people, like you or maybe so that they don't call you out or whatever, but you don't see them being like, "Hey, like I'm going to make nice cuz I don't want to compete against you." You know, or whatever. Like you don't you see them wanting to be an opponent and trying to make your life hell or difficult or miserable. So they want it to be a fifth sport. In sports, people don't like bow down and be like, "Oh, you do whatever is best for your game." Like, no, everybody has a little bit more. What's the word I want? Self. They're in it for themselves more than it seems like a lot of people want people to play this season of the challenge. So right now we have a bit of a split. So Bananas Angels, which is Rachel, Jenny, Aviv, Laurel, and Johnny, versus Tori, Jordan, Michelle, Naya, Kyland, Corey, and Olivia. It's interesting. Kara's not there. Is there anybody else that's not there? Is it just Cara? That's and
Derek and
Nehemiah.
yeah, Nehemiah, Derek, Theo. But although I
Derek.
was surprised that Theo wasn't included there, just because of his connection with Olivia, obviously. I presume Theo is on that side, most definitely. But yeah, Nehemiah, Derek, Cara, I believe that was it.
Mary's like, heck, even in the Amazing Race, we have seen people get U-turned twice in the same leg, and the Amazing Race is not that cutthroat. This is true. Oh, you don't want to see Amazing Race, but there's some mechanics where you can like sabotage other players, and people don't care. They're like, sorry, I want to win.
Yeah.
So facts. So Kyland is okay. I'm off of really being that plus about Kyland. I'm kind of going up and down with him, but at this point, I'm kind of down with him because I find him really annoying. So he's wondering why that Bananas chose Naya and is kind of confronting Bananas about this, and in his confessionals being like I've only played like 3 seasons, and I knew that it was a possibility that he might not be able to choose Tori. Like I know, like I'm just like shut up. Like it's not 100% that it was going to be that way. Like I wasn't sure because of the fact that the last round Rachel was able to be chosen, and we talked about it through already. And even Bananas after the fact was talking about it on his podcast with Tina. I don't know if Aviv was there at that point yet, but they're all saying like even Tori thought that she was going to be an open for going in because that's the way that the format was leading them to believe. And so I don't know, just Kylan and his arrogance was just really annoying. Me anyways. How did you feel?
No, I actually didn't. I didn't mind him like standing up to Bananas. I was glad he did it. I honestly wish he got like a little bit more aggressive. I wish he got more
I mean, he get more
aggressive with
aggressive.
Michelle.
He just annoyed me with his like what's the chat, what word am I thinking of with him? He just
Condescending?
Yeah, it's condescending, but in a way that I don't know, that he's trying to pretend like he's not being condescending. I don't know. I have flickers of him on Big Brother, and like it just annoyed me.
Yeah, well, I wish like Kyland and Theo, for that matter, just like got into it with bananas more. Like protect your women. Kyland did a little bit, but I wish that they kind of like got more activated. Um, so I was really hoping Kyland would do a little bit more there. I think Kylan is like even like last season though, Kylan with a soft like got pretty heated at one point. I want to see like Bananas has been fighting with all the women. I want to see Bananas. I mean, Bananas has been poking a little bit at Jordan, but I want to see some of these men poke back at Bananas because right now it's all the women are fighting with Bananas, but none of these men are like even Jordan, who is being poked by Bananas. Like Jordan's remaining very calm and cool. Kylan remaining calm and cool. I want to see them get a little bit more heated.
Dabu says, I swear last week everybody pointed out that Banana should have known he can't say Tory. Kylan says that it's an issue. I remember for me anyways, maybe people in the chat had different thoughts. What did you remember what you said?
I mean, I definitely was not shocked that he couldn't, but it
Yeah, but
wasn't
I was
clear
like,
by any means.
but we definitely talked through the fact that it would have that it didn't seem like it was fair because of the fact that Rachel was an option before.
Yeah, like I think like historically Tori would be safe, but because Rachel wasn't, it was like a little bit surprising. Not like a crazy big shock. Obviously like the format reset, so maybe that has to do with it. But I think there was some confusion for sure.
Oh, Lena didn't watch Big Brother, so Kyle doesn't know me like he does others. Honestly, it took me a full season of the challenge for me to warm up to him a little bit. Like I couldn't stand him still on USA, and then he was okay on, was it Ride or Dies is next? What was it next that he was on? No, the Era for a New Champion.
Battle
Was that
for
the
the
next
new,
one?
yeah, Battle for New
Battle,
Champs.
sorry. And he like I was supporting him there because I did find that he was a bit of an underdog, and I was rooting for his group. But like Big Brother, like I was like I never want to see that person ever again. So
Yeah, I don't mind Kylan. I think he's like fine. He is pissing me off this season, but I think more so because I just find he like so desperately wants to be like in with the vets. And like you said, like I liked more last season when he was more of an underdog, and he's obviously very physically strong and he's a threat in that way. I just like would have loved to see him come into this season and want to beat the vets and not just be with them. That's what I was kind of hoping for with someone like him, and it has been a little disappointing. Obviously, I mean, again, like still physically he's doing great, but
Jay and Michelle
I
made me like Kylan. Yeah, I can agree with that.
someone on Twitter, I can't remember who it was, so I can't give them credit, but it got like a quite a few likes and comments. Someone had posted that they think that casting made a huge mistake by not having Jay on this
Oh, I
season,
saw that.
and I tend to agree with that. I think what's lacking this season a little bit is the era for men. It was
Having
all
some
they only cast people that either want to lay low and not do anything or want to suck up to the vets. Like I mean, some like Horacio and Theo are literally just doing nothing. They're just laying low. Kyland, Polly, Josh are just like in with the vets or want to be in with the vets. I think what we were really missing on that side of the new era is just a chaotic presence. And I think Jay would have made sense there. He has relationships to Michelle and Olivia. He has a bit of a rivalry with Nerys.
I mean,
Turbo, I think, would have been
I
good as
hear what
well.
you're saying, but I don't like. I mean, maybe that's what I need is to be irritated every episode and just be like so angry with the person's presence. But I don't know if he's the one that would fix it. But you could be right, but I'm not sure. I'm
I
not
think
sure.
I don't know. I don't think he necessarily would have fixed it entirely because he would have been a massive target. But he would have. not been afraid to take swings at big players, which if he was there for 4 weeks, even, like, I think he would have definitely been chaotic, which I would have appreciated. Personally, I would prefer Turbo. I just think Turbo would be even worse off in the game. Like, everyone would just be trying to get him out, and he would have no allies even on his own era to protect him. Whereas Jay, I think Jay is underrated, I will say. And I think he is kind of like a villain that is needed.
Sorry. Okay, so Jay here is saying that I didn't watch Big Brother season, his Big Brother season, but I remember seeing clips of him holding one-on-ones, HOHs, and the Fruit Loops. Yes, well, like his head of household reigns, he would have just like hour-long meetings, one-on-ones with people, and just talk in circles about. It was just insufferable. And then he also really had a moment where he was being evicted and he nearly went to blows with Xavier, and he threw kind of a low blow at Xavier, and like I wasn't really impressed by how he went out. Like it wasn't good at all. It was like very uncomfortable and very unbecoming. I think Julie was nearly like, did you watch that season or no?
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the whole seaon. I thought that was awesome.
I didn't think
That's
it was very, I don't know. I didn't like it at all.
Oh, I was in shock. I mean, live TV, Kyland was like nearly about to get in a fist fight. Like, that was the kind of energy I kind of wanted on the challenge, to be honest. Like, I wanted Kyland to like show up on the challenge, just be like getting in people's faces, being like being this like aggro like alpha. But he just kind of, I think he learned from the errors of his ways, and now he's just a lot more mellow. But oh man, if we got like stuff like that on the challenge, that would have been awesome to
That
me.
part would have
That
been
was
better,
like,
but that was one of the reasons why I didn't really like him. Like I just didn't like his vibe. I didn't like, but if he
oh,
was,
for me, that was just like that. That's like real That's like real reality
it
TV.
was
Like,
real.
that's like shit you don't get anymore. Like you don't get fights on reality TV in the 2020s, or honestly for most of the 2010s even. So when that happened, it was like, all right, well, this is, I got my popcorn ready. It's dark, it's like not right, but I thoroughly was entertained by the whole thing. And yeah, like Julie was scared. Ozza and Big D in the house were scared. They thought they were gonna have to like break up two guys, like two big, strong dudes going at it. Yeah, that was wild.
um, yeah, it was definitely a reality TV moment, but I didn't like what it showed me about his character. But that's just me disliking who I'm seeing on my screen. And like why I just don't vibe with him. But if he did bring a little bit of that energy, I think it would make him maybe at least he wouldn't just be condescending. Like at least he'd just be like kind of like a hothead or like God, like I don't know. I just don't like his condescendingness. It's annoying to me. But um Kylan on Love Island would be fun. I don't know. I don't like
No,
him.
I don't want Kylan. Kylan on Love Island would not be fun because the conversations he would have with the women would be so hard to listen to. He would just be talking their ears off. And I mean, we saw it this season, even earlier with Naya, where Naya was like, all right, if you don't kiss me right now, I'm just going to leave. That would be him on Love Island with all the women that he'd be speaking to. So I don't want to see him on there. I think someone I would love, like, I mean, Olivia was obviously on Love Island. I think she's a better fit there. I didn't love her on Love Island, but I think she is potentially a better fit on a show like Love Island than The Challenge.
No
Um,
swag. I remember him and Melissa kiss, 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 and it was so awkward.
yeah,
So awkward. Um,
yeah. Kylan Love Island would not be it for me.
yeah, I'm I wouldn't be into it. I did think it was funny though with because Theo was a little bit annoyed with Bananas over the fact that he put Olivia as a target. He has obviously Kyland coming at him, being like, "Why are you putting in Naya?" And he's in a big fight with Michelle and the LOLs because Devin. And so he said, "Chivalry is not dead. All the boyfriends are coming to me." It's true. It is true. Um, so we see that Naya tells Bananas that Michelle is upset. Michelle comes on a little bit of a rampage to find Johnny to talk to him, and he's hiding in a closet. And Michelle and him, she just feels like he never really cared if he's so easy to throw away her friendship, like in this moment. Now, I think that this is the difference between Michelle and Bananas is that Michelle will always kind of like, oh, I have so many friends. I have to protect this person. And even if they do me wrong, like I'm still friends with them. And like she's always juggling things around. And Bananas, if you do me wrong, like it's done for now, and like we'll have to move on if we can later. And so I was kind of on Bananas' side here, being like, listen, like, what am I supposed to do here? I can't be protecting you if you and your friends aren't protecting me. How does that make sense? What were your thoughts though?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely find myself on the Banana side, not so much because I think he's right, but just because I think he's more entertaining. I do think Michelle like had reason to be upset, though. To be honest, I'm still very confused, and I can't wait for the reunion here because like I'm very confused. Like, what happened really? Like, I know like we've gotten like bits and pieces of it, but like it seemed like what we saw on TV was just not that big of a deal, but to them it feels like such a big deal. So I'm kind of confused by the specifics of like what went wrong here. So I am curious to find out more. Obviously, Michelle is upset for a number of reasons, but I find myself like still siding with Bananas because at the end of the day, like it is a game. Like there's a line in the sand. We like that. Like we don't need to like you can make nice in the off season.
Debbie says Michelle's got to stop getting into arguments if she's just going to be crying at the end. Well, Bananas did say on his pod that he, and like Tina pointed out, that I think he does really like and care for Michelle. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bananas was being slightly genuine with this with Devin. Like he's seen how Devin has acted with people. If we even take a look at how he was on X on the Beach, Peak of Love, we see that he was really shitty to Marie, and like he hasn't necessarily been the nicest in the relationships that we are aware of. And so I could see Devin or Bananas as being better friends with Michelle than he is with Devin. That he's just like, hey, like just keep your eyes open. Like I don't want. Hopefully he's not just using you for game, but just like be wary here. And then Michelle, having a closer bond with Devin and is romantic with him, tells him, and then obviously sets off this World War III. What are you gonna say?
Yeah. Ryan was on the official challenge podcast last week
Is that still
and they
on? I don't
asked
get
him
any
about it.
notifications for it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so he was asked about it from Davon and Devin, and Ryan and Devin I think agreed. Basically said that Bananas is like the kind of guy he crushes on women very easily.
Oh, so he has a crush
And
on Michelle?
Ryan was saying that he thinks that he had crushes on both Michelle and Olivia, and he was just kind of he was like a bit sour that other men in the house were like getting the attention from the women and that he didn't really get much attention from women this season, and he was kind of upset by that, and that led to kind of some of his game decisions and trying to split up Michelle um, and Devin, and then Devin Simone kind of agreed with that, but again, that's just like speculation.
I mean, I can
But
see that
yeah,
also.
there
I
could
think
be
they
some
both
to
can
it.
be true. I think that he could have had interest in Michelle. We saw some photos of them hanging out and having some sort of a connection or friendship outside of the game. And so I could see that maybe he just would prefer that she was not with Devin if she's going to be with somebody specifically. So Lena says, though, agree with me that Johnny said that Michelle cried on his shoulder a couple years ago about Devin. So, that could also play into things. And so I'm sure that Michelle was like, okay, like Devin, like, I just like, it's just something that's bothering me and it's something that Bananas said to me. Like, I'm sure she was kind of coming to Devin, to make her feel better about the situation, and probably also didn't realize that it was going to be such a big deal. But I feel like the fact that she's not really owning her part in the situation is what's kind of frustrating me about it. It's like, you shouldn't have said anything if you didn't want them to be in a fight about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty frustrated by Michelle, and honestly, I hate to say it, like the ladies of Leisure in general, like have kind of been frustrating to me. Like I think Naya started the season off really hot and has just like completely gone invisible up until really tonight. Um, but yeah, I think I don't know. I just like I want to see more from people, especially like ladies of Leisure. They're not like the physically dominant alliance. Clearly, like they're the weaker alliance, which like you can compare them to the Lavender ladies in that sense. But it's like all right, we're not like these powerhouse females, but they just like didn't provide the same kind of spark and entertainment. And I think a lot of that was because all of them were like booed up and were not like trying to get messy. They were just trying to like stay with their men and their showmances.
Barry's like, Van's telling Michelle about Devin's red flags is hilarious. He himself is a walking red flag, but he could see it. He could see it. Now, maybe they're the real deal. They're the real thing. Who knows? But I would want my male friend to give me a heads up if they think that someone might be, not the best partner for me. I would want to hear it. And then me make my own judgments after. I would not want them to allow me to get into a situation without having all the information. That's me. But, I guess not everybody is going to want to know all the information. So I love learning that Naya is a corporate flight attendant. Obviously, I love flight attendant. I forgot about that as being a career option. Getting to just like take care of, usually take care of one plane or a couple. If you have the company has a few different planes and you have a few different clients, so that would be super awesome. But we see her talking with Olivia, but knowing that Olivia and Michelle are Kyland's number 1 and number 2, and not her, and so that's also a shit deal for Naya that she's making out with Kyland, who's one of the best guys in the house physically and intellectually, and she's not even his number 1 or number 2. That sucks. That's terrible.
Yeah, tough episode for Naya. Like not his number 1 and 2. Like Jordan potentially not his 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the person she goes furthest back with, and another person she was romantically involved with. So I think Naya's problem here is everyone in the house kind of looked at her as a layup, and I don't think even like the men that she should have been closest with like valued her in the game because unfortunately she's just not as strong as a competitor. So like yeah, she was kind of getting shat on a little bit by multiple different people. Bananas called her a layup too. Not a great episode for Naya.
Yeah, I feel bad because I have a lot more hope for Naya than she just has not been performing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Naya's problem is like she's really good with physical eliminations, but these dailies in particular that tend to focus more on endurance or like puzzle math, like random skills, that's not really her strong suit. So like she has said it as well. She said like, hey, like I can't really do anything in the dailies, so I have to make my mark in the eliminations, but she's really just hoping for physical eliminations. And when you're hoping for one kind of eliminations, you're going to be disappointed, unfortunately.
Whoa, is this true, Lena? So Lena says, I think that the only reason Olivia has gotten close with Naya is her connection with these billionaires. I heard who one of her friends is. So they are wealthy. I mean, from what I've seen of Olivia, she definitely likes to move in that way. So that would make sense to me. Interesting. Interesting. She does look towards clout. Bananas is talking to Laurel and Jenny. Laurel thinks that the guys would want to run a final with her, which is true. See, this is I would think that this would cause more drama, but it hasn't. I think the producers were thinking like, hey, yeah, the guys are going to want the strong girls and the girls are going to want the strong guys. So it's going to cause all this fighting and, but it doesn't actually work because the strong girls usually also win the dailies. And so they just put in the weaker people into elimination. It hasn't really paid off, I don't think yet. Maybe with Bananas, it's the only time it's paid off so far.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it would be better if the men voted the men and the women voted the women?
I think it would cause people
I
to be
think
more
that would
pissed
make.
off.
I think it would be better because then you're incentivized to take shots at bigger players. And it's like, all right, well, you're my direct competition. So you're like, when, like, say Bananas had to take a shot at Jordan, it's a shot at his direct competition. And then Jordan wins and takes a shot back at Bananas. Like, to me, that's more entertaining than it's like, all right, well, now, like, I have to get my women to take the shot at Jordan. And then Jordan has to get his women to take the shot at Bananas. And uh, Bananas has to take the shot at Tori. And
It's
Jordan
like they
is
can't make
taking a
a direct
shot at
hit on people
Rachel.
that they're competing against. It's annoying.
Yeah, like I think it would be way more dramatic if Bananas flat out nominates Jordan, Kyland, Corey. Like, to me, that is going to cause more waves. And all right, I'm going to nominate the three weakest women, which is like the right move for Bananas, but it's just not as exciting as the format could be.
Absolutely, because he doesn't want to put in people that he would help him win the final in the end. So yeah, the format is flawed for sure. And I think they thought it was going to be, I don't know actually what they thought it was going to be, but
No,
it isn't
I
working.
think I think what they did is they did it this way because they want the strongest people to go to the end.
Right, they want to
Like,
be the
for the show, it's like, all right, this format will increase the odds of all the strongest physically strongest players being there, which I think is what they want. But
You're right.
what I want is just more messiness along the way. Because, like, I say all the time, like, I don't care necessarily who makes the final. I just want the journey to the final to be really exciting. And
Mm,
at the end of the day, like, there's going to be strong players there regardless.
yeah.
It's impossible for there not to be. But like, it to me, like, I don't need the 8 strongest people in the final. I just need I want the 8 strongest people to fight to get there and for some of them to be lost along the way. Like, to me, that's just a more exciting storyline.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. But I guess they just really want it to be a competitive final, like you said. And like I've seen a lot of people saying that they want the final to be with the best of the best. And so we'll see if it pays off. We'll see if we find it to be really compelling having all the super strong people competing at the end.
I just worry that this, like, the whatever, the friendship twist, what I can't remember even what it's called, the points that they're giving out, which they only
Karma.
talk about every like 4 karma points. Yeah, I just am praying that that doesn't ruin the final where it, like, gives someone the win that was not deserving of the win. And like, if Jordan's alliance is way bigger than Bananas alliance, so if the best of the best do make the finals and it's Jordan versus Bananas versus whoever, and Jordan has 10 more allies and he gets more karma points, Jordan's already better than Bananas at running a final. But with that advantage too, it's just like, it's not
Yeah.
even a fair fight, depending on what the advantage is. And I'm worried it's going to be something like very significant because they've been
Overpowering.
hyping it up since episode 1.
Yeah, I'm sure we're not going to like it. So we get to the daily win or go in. The losers are obviously going to be going into the elimination, and the winner is going to be able to decide between the three targets, or if they're or two of them if one of them is in the bottom. So this daily, Michelle is going to get a 30-second penalty because she did the worst in the previous daily. They're playing building bridges where they have to climb up a tower. They have to slide down a pole, jump off, grab 3 gold coins, climb back up, deposit the coin, solve a puzzle, wait till the bridge comes up a little bit, run and jump across the bridge, get 3 more coins, deposit them, jump onto a heavy bag, then take a rope and Tarzan swing into some blocks, and your time will be stopped. This was a pretty convoluted, there's a lot of elements in this daily. You didn't like it though, you said.
No, I actually liked the daily. I thought the daily was pretty good. I thought some of it was very obvious. Like the people that did not do well, I figured would not do well. It for the most part was people that were a little bit bigger, didn't do as great. I mean, we saw Naya, Olivia, Theo did not do super well. And obviously they're 3 of the bigger people in the game. Then I mean Jenny and Tori did really well. I guess
Was
not.
Jenny
They're
not
no
even
slouches.
doing her max because she was saying in her confessional or the voiceover that, oh, I don't want to do too well because I don't want them to think that I'm too much of a threat. But spoiler alert, she ends up winning the daily. And so was she doing her max, you think, or do you think she was also holding back a little bit?
I think she was doing her max. I think maybe it was more like after the fact she was like saying that to like build suspense. So that maybe producers asked her to say that. Yeah, I thought it was really fun. I thought it was a fun obstacle course. One thing I really loved about how they did this daily is I love that they didn't show everyone. Like if they just showed everyone doing it, that would have been really boring. But at the end, like they showed the big threats. Like they showed Jenny, Tori, Bananas, um, Kyland. But then for the other people, they showed the people that failed, and then the other people that completed it, they kind of showed all at once. Like it was like a quad cam almost. So we were
Yeah,
seeing like
I
same
did like that.
time. Yeah, I thought that was good because like I didn't need to see this 17 times. So like show us who fails. Oh, Cara was that was surprising and
Very
disappointing. Um,
surprising. Womp womp.
And during this daily, I was thinking, I'm like, is Cara like the clear number 5 woman now? Like,
Hmm.
I don't think she's in the same ballpark as the top 4. And maybe that's just recency bias because we haven't seen Cara on the flagship do super well in like 5 years now or 6 years. But to me, like she's a step below even like a Tori. And then I think Jenny, Tori, Laurel, Rachel are just in a tier ahead of Cara.
Well, Cara does give props to Tori, being like, she fell and Tori was competitive in her run. Definitely, it came down to her versus Jenny as the 2 fastest women doing this daily. Um, and Tori was, and Cara was like, she's had a few more seasons back to back, and she's gotten a lot better than she was when they last competed together. So yeah, Cars needs to step her game up because she might be overtaken by Tori. Like, Tori at this point appears to be better than Cara Maria, which I never thought would ever come out of my mouth. But at this point, yeah, she's
Oh
had more
yeah,
practice.
I think Tori is definitely like to me like my winning equity. Like Tori's well ahead of Cara. I don't think Cara will win this season. I think
Yeah.
Tori's also underrated with things like endurance and puzzles. So to me, yeah, like I think Tori would be my 4 still, but I think it's still ahead of Cara. And that's not just,
Um,
like I'm not saying overall like career wise, I think Cara is better for sure. I just mean right now, Cara to me is a little bit
I would
below the top.
choose Tori before I chose Cara, basically.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I would rely on Tori over Cara. That's wild, wild, Wild. I have to say, okay, I did enjoy this daily as well. I thought you'd said in the beginning that you weren't that excited about it, but I know I actually liked it a lot because it tested a bunch of different things. It made you do, climbing on the rope ladder type thing, and then you had to do a little bit of rock climbing, and you had to solve a puzzle. Like I like things that have multiple elements, test different things. And just because you do poorly at one thing doesn't mean that you couldn't make up time doing one of the other things. Now, do you think if Bananas had noticed the coin, if he would have still lost? Because he went first, and they do say in their confessionals, which is obviously done after, Kyland's like, oh, I'm happy that Bananas went first so I can get some tips and et cetera, et cetera. And in turn, it seemed to have worked. Bananas was like, wishes that he hadn't gone first because Kyland was able to eke out a win from him. So do you think that if he
No,
hadn't, no?
I think like it seemed to me, and obviously again, like his editing, it seemed like Kylan was just moving very fast. It seemed like Kylan crushed that. I think Kylan still would have won. I feel like Bananas probably lost 5 seconds, like 10 seconds maybe. But it felt like Kylan was just moving very smoothly. So I still think he would have won. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out more throughout the week, but yeah.
Devu says Tori couldn't beat Desi, Michaela, Chanel, or Kaz. Come on now. That was that season. I agree, but I'm just saying this season it just I don't. Would Cara have done better? Right? Like we don't know.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, would Cara have beat Desi and Michaela and Chanel? I don't know. I honestly don't know. And I mean, Desi, Michaela, and Chanel are pretty strong. Desi and Michaela in particular.
No, they
And
definitely
Kaz,
are.
I mean, we can't say Kaz because Kaz was partnered with Jordan. I know Tori was partnered with a literal NFL player, so I mean, it's not like she had a bad partner either. But Jordan is the best endurance athlete we've seen on the show, or endurance player we've seen on the show. So I'm not going to knock Tori for coming in second place to Jordan and Kaz. But you are right, and I have knocked her quite a bit in the past for losing to 3 rookies on USA2. I thought that was really funny when it happened. I just think Cara probably loses to those rookies as well.
Lord, yes, there was a new episode. Playback Era episode 11 did air tonight. Yes, I would have loved Michaela on this season. She would have been a nice person in Era 4. That would have been
Yeah.
fun.
Michaela would have been really fun. Like similar, she's not similar to Jay, but similar to Jay in the sense that she would have not taken any shit from anyone. Like she would have stood up to the vets. So yeah, put Michaela there instead of Casey, and like we're gonna have a much more entertaining Era 4.
No problem. Exactly, Jorge. Like, Tori had the benefit of the stupid Vacation Alliance. Tori never went to an elimination on Global. Yes, I definitely think that she's had some seasons where she had an easy ride to get to the end, all that stuff. I'm just saying, on this particular season, where it's all these heavy hitters and everybody's coming out with their big guns, Tori it's seemingly outranking Cara here. Just seemingly. Things could change.
Also,
But
like
right
I also want to mention I would rather Cara beat Tori, but I just personally think that if they went in a final against each other, that Tori would do better. I would want Cara to win, but I don't think she would, and I'm more than happy to be wrong about that if they both go to the final. And if Cara wins, I will be kind of happy. And she's not my preference, but I would be okay with her winning, and I would certainly rather her win than Tori. But
100%.
I just don't think that's the case.
Agreed 100% with you. Nehemiah had a couple of funny confessionals here, comparing Theo to the likes of Usain Bolt, but instead calling him Ant Bolt because he's like so slow. I was really laughing hard when he was swinging on the Tarzan thing. Like, it was really, really funny. And you can see Olivia just standing there like, that's my man. She was not feeling how bad he was at that challenge. I thought it was funny. And Nehemiah, I thought it was really funny. Aviv falls, and I thought it was going to be a DQ because didn't they say if you fall off the course, then it's going to be a DQ? But was it only in that first part?
I guess so. I guess, or maybe because she
Or is
fell
it
like
net?
onto onto the net where she had to go across anyways. Maybe that was clean. Or I mean, I guess at that point it didn't even matter anyways because other people had already DQ'd way earlier. But yeah, I guess it was just the front part.
But yeah, the LOLs and Cara were the ones that DQ'd. Cara was pretty embarrassed that she flopped so hard. It was pretty embarrassing. Everybody else completed it. Derek, Laurel, Rachel, Nehemiah, Jordan, Josh, Aviv, all were able to complete it. Bananas even talks about the fact that Aviv is like 5'0" and was able to do pretty much all the elements super successfully, except she falls. And we see in the next episode that she might have hurt her heel. But now somebody was mentioning, which is likely true, that if they're showing this on the preview, that it might be a misdirect. So maybe it's a misdirect,
I can see
right?
that. What I think is it will flare up, no pun intended, because I know that. Oh, can you hear me still?
I can hear you still, yeah.
Oh, my camera just went off. Weird. I lost Amanda, but I'm still here. Yeah, I think it will flare up at some point, whether it's next week or 3 weeks from now or in the final. I do think it will flare up again because otherwise, what's the point of mentioning it unless it's going to be a storyline? So I wouldn't be shocked if she made it through next week, but I do think at some point it's going to rear its head.
Jorge says, can you imagine if Tori and Laurel are purged? I don't think it's possible at all.
Yeah,
Cam
the
wants to
thing
know
is like
who I'm rooting for this season. Sorry, go ahead. You're going to say
Tori
something?
and Laurel they're just good at puzzles too. So it's hard for them to get purged. And I know Tori has gotten purged before.
I don't
I mean
think
in
so here.
USA too. In USA 2 she got purged, but it was because it
And
was
War of the
very
Worlds
much
too.
like yeah, but the that was a while ago. The USA 2 one, it was like a very random game. It wasn't a mini final. It was like, oh, it was axe throwing or something. And she ended up losing that. And it's like, unless they do something like that in the mini final, I don't think Tori or Laurel would get purged. But we'll see. I mean, it would be interesting for sure.
Cam, I think right now I'm rooting for Rachel to win because I like what she's doing. She's the only person that we've seen really going around to all the guys and basically making alliances with them, realizing that they're the ones that can actually protect her. And so even you see her talking to Tori, being like, "Hey, can you get Jordan to keep me safe?" And Jordan's always going to want to keep her safe because the fact that she's a strong woman. So I like the way that Rachel's playing the game. I like that when she needed to win, she did win. She made a big move. She broke up the Vacation Alliance. And so right now I'm rooting for Rachel. I don't know out of the men who I want to win at this right now. Maybe Nehemiah, because I like
Mm.
Nehemiah. He's not really doing much, but everybody else kind of annoys me a little bit. So
Yeah, Nehemiah is just kind of like a nothing. Like I like him too. He's just kind of doing nothing for me. And it's not his fault. Like he's just getting a really quiet edit.
yeah.
Um I think I agree on Rachel. I think she's like a mix. She's the perfect mix of like storyline plus she's playing a good game and she's not boring. So that's like the perfect mix for me. Um for the men, I honestly I like Bananas is doing the most, but I don't really want him to win
I
again.
don't want him to get another title, but like I don't want Kyland to win because like his ego would irritate me personally. Other people
Oh,
probably
you know
want him to
what?
win.
I think of the man, this will never happen, but I think of the man, I would want Josh to win the most.
Oh, I
It sounds so weird to say that, but he's like kind of I feel bad for him. He's getting like picked on by the whole house in a way. He I do think plays like a pretty good strategic game. Like physically, he will he'll never win. Um, oh Jenny, I think would be okay. Jenny to me is just like a little bit more boring than Rachel. Corey, I would normally root for. I just can't do it this season. I vowed on episode 1 I won't root for him.
Oh, I love the drama that he's giving, but I don't want him to win another title. Like, like if he wins, I won't be the most upset by it, but I yeah, I don't want him to win. Would be his 8th title? That's too many. That's too many.
Yeah,
Why
like
don't I not want him to win another ring?
I'm hoping Bananas like sticks around until the end to create more drama, but I just don't like again, I don't really care if he
I
wins
don't
or
need him
not.
to
I
win,
just
but I would like to see him run
prefer
the
someone else
final.
to.
I would
Yeah, I'd
like to
like to
see
see
him.
him be there.
Yeah, Jenny winning is like Casey winning, unfortunately. A little bit better than
Oh,
Casey winning.
yeah, a little bit better. I think Jenny provides a little bit more, but it is like similar for sure.
So with the results, for the men, Kyland ends up winning. For the women, it was a close race between Tori and Jenny by a point or 6/100ths of a second. Jenny is able to win here, which is impressive because unless they chopped up the edit, it appeared like Jenny went before Tori. So Tori was able to get some pointers and tips as she watched everybody else before her. And so that's pretty impressive then if she was able to hold her time up to somebody that went after her. The last man is Theo, so he will be having a penalty in the next round. And Naya is in last place, going directly into elimination.
So sorry, hold, 1 sec. If Theo is going to have a penalty in the mini final, that really does not bode well for him, because he's already at a bit of a disadvantage just due to his size. Um, and he obviously wasn't good with paddling early on. So if he also has a penalty on top of that, I definitely would probably put my money on Theo as being the man to go home. Yeah, I
But we
forgot
do
about the
see
penalty.
Jordan carrying him at some point. So is that because Jordan wants Theo in the final because he thinks he can beat him? Like, what do you think is happening there? It's totally unexpected.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it like the Theo get an injury of some sort?
But why is
Um,
Jordan carrying him?
I don't know. Maybe it's after maybe it's after it ends and he's carrying him. Maybe he's like got heat exhaustion or something. I don't know.
I just have never seen that happen before, unless maybe part of the finals in pairs and it's same-sex pairs, maybe.
Yeah, I
The
don't
mini
know.
final, anyways. Rachel is very excited for Kyland to go ahead and make the decision between his 3 top women, which I'm like, Rachel is living for drama too. Like she kind of sits back a little bit, but she's here for it. And even later with the whole confrontation with Bananas, she's eating it up. Like she's watching and she's entertained, in my opinion. She's like, Bananas is doing his thing, and I'm just gonna watch it. So Jenny really is still feeling poorly about how she was treated on Era 4, saying that they didn't care about her, but Naya has been nice to her. So at this point, she's going to give Naya whoever she wants because Olivia and Michelle didn't really care about her, which I was like, fair. Like, I'd be the same too. We go to the club. We see Michelle. We already kind of talked about this, saying to Kylan that she's fine with whoever he picks, and she doesn't want to make it any harder on him. So she's okay with having to do whatever. And so I was like, I get it. She doesn't want to campaign against Olivia. I get it, but womp womp, womp womp. So then Olivia confronts Bananas, and Bananas, his stance is at least I know who I'm rocking with. At least you know who I'm rocking with, and that being Bananas Angel. So he's very clear and firm who he wants in this game, who he's protecting. And then he calls out Jordan, and Jordan says he basically wrote his name on a grenade and threw it and pulled the pin, which I'm like, yes, he did. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I was sitting there like a Cheshire cat with a grin the whole time for this fight because he's just so good at riling people up, and I was entertained by it for sure.
Yeah, well, like I agree. The thing that was just pissing me off is like with Olivia, to start off with Olivia, like Olivia goes up to Bananas and she confronts him about all of this, but she doesn't like get activated. Like she was so calm with it. Like even when he fired back, she didn't really like she didn't do anything from there. And then like Theo was like joking around with Bananas, like hugging Bananas after. Like obviously he wasn't taking it seriously. And then Bananas calls out Jordan, and like Bananas is calling out all the people. But the only person to get active back with him was Tori. Um, I like, and I can appreciate that. Like Tori got into Banana's face. Like Tori was arguing at him, but like when he's going after Jordan, saying like, "Who's your number one?" Jordan's just laying back, laughing with Corey. It's like, come on, like give us something, Olivia, Jordan, Corey, give us something. Someone, Theo, somebody get into Banana's face. Like, don't leave it only
Get
up to Tori to do it.
activated. Like Lindsay, you must love Lindsay Hubbard that always gets
I love,
activated.
yeah, I love Lindsay. It's like someone like Nerys, for example. Like when Nerys gets when Nerys got wronged last season, like she got loud, she got active. Melissa, like she got loud, she got active. Like it, Melissa's obviously not on the season. Nerys went early, but like people like that are not going to just let Bananas like talk shit to them. They're going to get in his face back. But really, like Tori was the only one doing
Like
it.
matching energy. Matching energy. Okay, Lindsay Hubbard is from Summer House and is somebody that gets in a lot of fights, claps back, gets her turn, and she's like, "Don't get me activated. Like I'm getting activated," and that's what she always talks about when she's ready to clap back. But this is something that we actually learn in acting class with Meisner technique, is that you kind of go back and forth and you're calling out behavior, but you match energy, right? Like that's what I think you're missing here, is like matching the energy. If Bananas is coming at me like ah, da, 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 like I would have to respond back that way on a TV show. Maybe in real life I'd want to pacify the situation and like take it down a notch and be very calm, cool, and collected about this whole situation and very logical. Real life, yes. TV show, activated. Like you have to. What, you're on a show. You can't hide
Yeah.
your true
To be
feelings. Go ahead.
I posted on Twitter during this episode. It's like Bananas, like this is Bananas right now, and it was the GIF of Regina George from Mean Girls, like throwing all the burn book pages into the hallway, and all the madness surrounds her, and like, yeah, she knows what she's doing. Bananas knows what he's doing. He's like riling everyone up. He's like causing dents potentially in the game, which is really fun. But the only thing missing is just the other people reacting to it. Like he wants them to react, and they're just like not giving him what he wants, which I get it. Like they don't want to blow up their spot, but we want it. We want Jordan to stand up and get in his face. We want Theo and Kyland to be protecting their women. We want Olivia to get loud.
Yes.
Michelle did
Get
it a little
loud.
bit, but
Clap back. Get that on a TV show. Real life, different. TV show, clap back. Yes, of course I watch Summer House. I've seen every season, and Winter House, and I will be watching the Love Hotel with the Real Housewives. Like, have you heard about? You don't watch the Housewives, do you?
no, I do watch Summer House though.
So the housewives, some of the messy ones, are actually all going to be looking for love at a hotel, and I already heard that it's it's a hot mess of drama. So I'm excited for it. Yeah, it's kind of like Jersey Shore, but they're going to the Hamptons instead. I'm loving the Bananas Tory rivalry. Yeah, I like them better against each other than working together.
Yeah, this is the highlight of the second half of the season for sure, and I think it'll continue. I think like yeah, the Bananas versus Tory of it all is like really carrying the entertainment right now, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. So I mean, fingers crossed, Bananas doesn't go home next week because he's definitely in some trouble. But yeah, I want this to continue for a little bit.
Oh, do you want me to cover it, Barry? I'm thinking of covering it with my friend Karen. We watched the Housewives together. Debbie says he's not riling anyone up. You heard Cara, he's just a baby. Cara is saying that it's the Johnny show and he's a hypocrite. I don't really think that he was acting like a baby. I think that he was playing into his position in the game and doing his best to throw punches at everybody else. Asking Tori, like, how many guys are you protecting, Tori? And like naming them all. Like, I love that he was calling everybody out and being like, choose, let's hear it. Let's hear your order. Like, do they know where they stand?
100%. And like, I swear I literally say this every single season too, and I always think of it every season when I'm watching. I think the same thing. It's like, what do these people in the house think? Like, where do they think they fall in this pecking order? And I love that Bananas is actually saying it. It's like, yeah, Tori. Like, if Tori's number one is Jordan, if Tori's number two is Devin, where does Corey fall? And then there's Michelle has Kyland, Michelle has Devin, Michelle has Theo. All right, Corey, where do you think you fall? Nehemiah, where do you fall? Derek, where do you fall? It's like, all right, well, someone has to be number 5, 6, 7. So if you're not 1, 2, 3, 4, why are you willingly being 5, 6, 7? Just do something else, like create a wave. But every year, like nobody does
just, like,
anything. So
pretend like they're in a better position than they are.
oh yeah, and like I love that Bananas calls it out, but I want to hear now, like, is this resonating with Josh? Is it resonating with Theo and Corey, or do they not care? We haven't got that side of it yet. Like we haven't heard what the other men think about potentially not being Tori's number 1, 2, 3. So when they like, when will we get that? And what by the time we get it, will it be too late? Like, are we not going to get it until Josh is going home or Theo's going home or whoever, Nehemiah is going home? That's what I hope doesn't happen. I hope that they realize it and then a counter alliance forms, or you have people doing the pendulum strategy and they kind of flip between the alliances. I think that is like another thing that's super interesting that people need to do more often, but it just doesn't happen enough. I think Chantele might be frozen. So I will just talk about the pendulum strategy a little bit more, which I think originated in Survivor. If there's any Survivor fans in the audience, in the Amazon, Rob C, who does Rob as a podcast, basically created this strategy where you take out the people. He took out the person in the middle so he could be the middle person, and he flips like a pendulum between each alliance to take out one member of one alliance, and then you take out the next member of the other alliance. And because you've already taken out the middle and the other alliances going at each other are such big threats in the game, you're kind of safe because there's no other middle person and you've created the divide between the two alliances. So to me, that's what we need to see more of on the challenge, where like if you are in a position like a Corey or Nehemiah where you're a strong player but you're not the top of the pecking order for either alliance, you take shots, you allow the alliance to take shots at each other, and you just flip based on where the power is going. So I think that's super cool. I guess we can move on a little bit more towards the Bananas fight here with Tori. So obviously we're at the bar. Bananas goes after Jordan. Then after that, he goes after Tori and basically says the same thing. Like, hey, Tori, who's your number 1, 2, 3, 4? And Tori gets active and gets in Bananas' face and says, you don't know me. We're not friends anymore. You don't know my game. I mean, he does know her game because he's played that game before. So at the end of the day, he is right. He's bringing up good points, and he's doing what he wants by riling up Tori as well. Um, so I think that's I think he did what he needed to do there. This is weird, just kind of going over everything myself. I don't even have notes, so I'm just going off the top of my head. If I forget anything, we can get to it after. But
I know.
oh, here we are.
So okay, with the provider, they were saying like, oh, I should get a new bundle, whatever. They're gonna get me new like 10 times as fast. Like I don't know, like a crazy faster speed internet, and so I had to wake up today to have them come to the house and change my internet, even though it was fine before. But they're like, oh, it's gonna be better, faster, it's newer, all that stuff. And this is the first time in like 2 years that I've had internet problems in this way.
Ah.
What?
It's better now. It's like you were breaking up a lot before, but it's much clearer now.
I'm tethering
Um,
from my phone. I kicked myself
oh,
off of the internet and I'm tethering right now because it wasn't working.
oh, yeah. I was just talking about the Tory fight, and then I was about to get into the deliberation. So,
Perfect.
um, yeah, we finished up with the bar. I went on a bit of a tangent about the pendulum strategy that I think needs to be used more in the challenge, but I went on a bit of a spiel there with the audience, and we talked with the Tory of it all, and we were just gonna. I guess now we can talk about the deliberation.
I will. Before you get to the deliberation, did you talk about how Corey? I mentioned it briefly about when Corey goes and talks to Rachel, and she's like, "Yeah, like I think I'm okay with you, but like I want to be safe with Nehemiah as well. Can you maybe put in a good word with me?" Then we see Corey going over to Nehemiah, and Nehemiah is feeling better about his relationship with Rachel now, seeing that she's willing to work with me here, and so that is really good for Nehemiah's game, and so. I really like that from Rachel. And I like the fact that they were both receptive to this. Nehemiah usually doesn't say yes to anything. And so I'm happy that he's open to working with Rachel here.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was smart of Rachel in particular. I guess Rachel's choosing because Rachel said, like, I think you need four people, four men, and she chose her four men to be Bananas, Jordan, Corey, Nehemiah. I think that's a pretty
Strong.
good four. Now, what I am curious about if for Rachel, my one slight worry for her is I do worry, does she have her hands in too many cookie jars? Because she's also very tightly tied to Josh. Josh is not someone that I think is going to win many dailies, but is she going to throw Josh to the wolves over Nehemiah or Corey or Jordan? That to me, I don't think Rachel's the kind of person that would do that to a real friend. So I feel like she would go back on her word potentially to save
But
Josh
she's
or Derek
also good
even
at
too.
being like, oh, like, I'm really sorry. Like, we have a friendship outside of here. And like, I was hoping that we'd never be put in this position. She'll be able to talk her way out of it. I think she's playing it by ear, right? I think she's covering all her bases. And then if she has to cross that bridge, she will deal with it. And she
Yeah.
might not even have to because maybe Josh will be purged, right?
Yeah. I think what she did was smart in the sense that she selected the four people that she thought would be the strongest and most likely to win, with the exception of Kyland, who I think Kyland would be in the top four for the men, but she chose four of the top five.
And she
And
still
then
has
she
some room
has,
there. Like she could throw in Kyland. I don't think she cares. Um,
oh, yeah. I just think when it comes to Josh and Derek, like, is she going to throw in her friends, her real life friends, over Corey and Nehemiah? Like, I personally think she would go back on her word and throw in Corey or Nehemiah over Josh and Derek. We'll see. It would be, I mean, she'll do what's best for her, but I think she's gonna think what's best for her is staying loyal to her friends outside the game.
I definitely can agree with this. I don't know if she will like turn her back against Josh or Derek, but I could also see Rachel not necessarily taking a win in some of these situations. So if somebody from the Bananas Angels is doing a little bit better than her, like I could see her allowing someone else to get that win so she would not be put in that situation. So she just has to not lose in most of these situations, or if she's a target, obviously she has to win at that point. But I think the not losing is really her mo here.
Yeah. I do think this is great for Corey and Nehemiah too, because they were kind of two people in the game that were kind of in the middle, didn't really have many allies. So even if it's not like, even if Rachel isn't 100% with them, the fact that they're at least jumping Theo and Kyland
Mm-hmm.
on her list is huge.
It's great.
So if they can if they can stay safe for 2 weeks, that's pretty massive in a game like the challenge where, I mean, once you are safe for 2 weeks, then all you have to do is maybe win one elimination or win one daily, and you're in a final. So it is pretty huge for them.
PJ has a point here. Rachel had no problem throwing Anissa to the wolves at the start of the season. I think she's playing to win. She probably doesn't have too many seasons left. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, they're not. The difference is they were in a team format then.
Yeah.
And with all due respect to Anissa, like people view Anissa as an anchor on a team.
An ankle.
Whereas now it's individual. Yeah, an ankle, literally. But now it's individual. So there's not as much incentive for Rachel to betray a friend
But she also,
when
I don't
it's not
think,
really
would
going to do
want
much.
to run a final with Josh, though. That's necessarily. But I think that I personally think that Rachel will want to try and keep her word if she can. And by that meaning maybe allowing someone from her alliance to win and have that power, and so do what she wouldn't be able to do, or what she'd find difficult to do. So we do also see Nia approaching Bananas. Did you talk about that too, or no? Just like getting him to reiterate, what was said, what he said, not being on his roster. Ouch. We do see a flashback of Tori, Laurel, Aviv, and Rachel being the people that are on his roster, and that he did go back and ask them, that's crazy. Like, that's so rude to Nia. But she never really solidified anything with him. Bananas says that he wants to be a botanist because he's just planting seeds all over the place and they're just growing. Josh does say that he also knew that Jordan has this, that Nia apparently was holding back Era 3. And so it seems like everybody but Nia knew that she wasn't on Jordan's top 4, or probably even 5. All right, so the chamber. Jenny starts it off with being like, I'm going to give Nia her best shot here, so whoever she wants. And Michelle was not happy about this. So she got a little bit of a clap back. She got a little bit heated here. Did you enjoy that, Matthew?
Kind of. Like, I think it was like, I mean, it was something.
I think that's some
but
trash.
I don't know.
He said.
Yeah. It kind of like, I feel like Michelle was definitely like taking out some frustration here on Jenny, which, like, yeah, I like to see it for the most part. It just like didn't really translate to much after that. Like, Jenny was kind of just like, okay, whatever. And then it really kind of fizzled out from there.
Yeah, and Kyland's like, yeah, Michelle, you're the one that's going to be going in. And she's fine
Yeah,
with
there was
it.
nothing. Like, we didn't even get Nia. I guess Nia must have told Kyland prior to, like, hey, I'd rather go against Michelle. Which personally I actually think is a mistake. But it was pretty lackluster deliberation after that little Michelle quibble with Jenny. She's kind of in and out. Michelle, it's going to be you. Michelle was fine with it. Olivia
Nia
gave her
was
words of
crying a little bit.
encouragement. Yeah, a little bit of tears, and it's kind of just like, all right, well, may the best woman win, and no hard feelings. And I want there to be a little bit more hard feelings.
I know, right? So after Olivia does vent to Theo, and just Theo patting her for comfort, I thought it was actually kind of funny. He's just like, pat, like, she liked them as a couple, to be honest. Nia then goes and asks Jordan if there was any truth about what Johnny was saying, and he just prays that he doesn't have to choose because, he's such strong friends with, who was the 3? He said Tori, her, and who's the other person?
Laurel.
But Jordan is now off of Nia's roster because she could read between the lines and realize that he doesn't really have her front of mind in this game, which is true. We get to the arena. We know it's going to be Nia versus Michelle. They're playing 40-fication. I'm like, what's the fication? I'm like, right, because they're doing math problems or whatever. So basically, they have to stand on the outside of the crates. They're all locked with chains, and in between all these crates, there are equations to unlock these locks, and then bring these 40 blocks back to their stations. Nia's channeling Kyland's brilliance, and hopefully, because he's a math whiz, he'll just have his math whizziness kind of infiltrate her brain. And Michelle also hates math. They have chalk. Why was this hard? This isn't hard with chalk. If you have chalk, this is not hard, right? Like, I don't know how. Are you good at math? I can't remember.
I'm not great at math. I like basic math I can do pretty well. I'm not great with like advanced like calculus and things like that.
I
But
don't know
yeah,
calculus, so I don't.
multiplication,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, multiplication, anything like that, like division. Yeah, I could do that with chalk
With
or a piece of
chalk,
paper.
like
Um,
paper.
the thing I was confused about with
And
this,
it's not even no pen mass, bed mass. Like it's you hear Kyland just left to right, just left to right. Like that's how they do it on the challenge. They don't do order of operations. It's literally left to right with like 3 steps. It's very
did they?
basic.
Was it just? I'm pretty sure it was just one question they were doing too. Like it didn't seem like they were doing multiple different questions.
Well, I don't know. I couldn't tell if it was multiple different questions, but there was different. It seemed like there was different chalk things on Naya's side because Naya decided to do all the locks, and Michelle was doing the lock and then carrying the barrel, doing the lock, carrying the barrel, which in turn turned out to be the better strategy. I was so irritated by Naya just taking her slow ass time, like not listening to the people. Like you're saying you want to channel Kyland? Listen to him then. He's telling you how to win this damn challenge. And I think that if she had started moving those blocks a little bit faster, I think she would have been able to eke out a win. But the fact that she felt that she needed to go through all the blocks first, I think it made it too physically heavy on one end, and so she's just like running back and forth when Michelle had way too much of a lead in front of her. And I thought it was a big mistake, her strategy.
I have a feeling that it was even more of a blowout than it seemed. Like I have a feeling we're gonna find out tomorrow that it was never even close.
Well, it looked like she
Because
had
to me,
10
like
pieces, 10 blocks left when Michelle was done. It looked about 10, maybe 12.
yeah, but to me it looked like when Naya completed her math equation, Michelle had
Had
already
like
had like a
30,
number of boxes there. So it was
like
like
20.
I think maybe Michelle like slowed the pace down a little bit because it was already over.
Well, and yeah, and
Um,
she wasn't in a it wasn't competitive at all, right? Like Nia wasn't
yeah,
even close, so she didn't have to pick up the pace.
yeah, it's like I'm not gonna like she's not gonna like bust her back like Darrell did in his elimination, just to like when she's already up by 8 minutes or whatever. Um, but the thing that frustrated me most about this elimination was there was multiple commercial breaks during it. I mentioned it earlier. It's like why are we watching these 3 commercial breaks when we can see Michelle has 20 blocks there and Naya's still doing her math equation. And then
And
they
doing
like
it
build up the
slowly,
suspense.
not even doing it like hurriedly. I was so frustrated. I was just like, finish up to start doing something.
It's
Go.
also just it's so boring to just watch like someone's just sitting there doing math and we can't like see the math, so it's just so boring to watch. I was actually going to ask this as well. Like
Tabu
what is
says
the future for Naya?
we don't need Nia back. Finish last in how many dailies now? If she doesn't get into shape, don't bother. No urgency. Narrowly beat Amanda. Amanda did have
Well,
like a lot of heart and like half
I
her
don't
size.
care that much about I don't care that much about
Her being in
the
shape.
coming last in dailies and stuff. It's just like she's not the same dramatic Naya that she was when she was younger, which is great for her in real life. But if you're not going to be physically the strongest, if you're not going to be a strong physical competitor, and you're also not going to provide entertainment, then like what is the future for you on the show?
She got into a
That's my worry with Naya.
showmance, but it was a really boring
Yeah,
showmance.
but the problem is like oftentimes when you get into showmance, it actually makes you less entertaining because you're just booed up in bed with someone all season, and they don't air that because it's not really entertaining. So unless it was like a chaotic showmance, like sure that would be fun. And also, Naya was really fun when she was hooking up with Kyland at the beginning, when she was flirting with Josh, and then once she settled into that showmance, she just wasn't as entertaining anymore. And
Well,
I
they were
love
all with
Naya.
I love yous in the end, but they're done now, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah. I think it's gotten messy.
Yeah, I feel like she said to like, I can't stand that man. Like, I don't want him associated with me. But they were like, I love you, kiss, kiss, like when she was leaving.
Yeah, I'm
What
just
happened?
I'm really like torn on the Naya situation, and like a lot of people on this season too. It's like, what more can we ask, or what more can we expect from someone like Naya in a future season?
Not
Um,
much. I don't.
it's
Not
like
much.
I
Because
want,
like
like I love
if like
Naya.
I
I
was
just
rooting for her to come back because I wanted to see the drama that would have happened if she picked Jordan. I did want to see like how he would react or whatever, like if that would someone would pop off or like there's something would go on. So I was hoping that we'd get to see it, but we didn't. So it's just like we can't really rely on
I
her for having anything happen.
yeah, it's a shame. Like when I saw she was on this cast, I was super excited. And just like, I don't know, kind of flopped for me a little bit. I hate to say it again, but I was hoping for Michelle to win. I just think Michelle is more capable as a player, socially and competition wise.
Is she a
Um,
layup?
and yeah, and I think Michelle also will get into it more with people like Bananas. So, and also like Michelle did take a shot at Jordan. I don't think Nia would have ultimately.
Fair. Yeah, I prefer Michelle over Naya at this point. Yeah, Michelle at least tries to do something. She knows to a certain extent that she's on a TV show. So it seems like Naya has forgotten that part of it. She was messy back in her day, you know? Like she got
The thing is, like Nia has been on like podcasts and she's done like Instagram lives and stuff, and she talks about it. Like she says, like I've just grown so much. Like I've been in therapy for the last 10 years, like since like my outburst on the show, which was like very not like cool in real life. It was very entertaining, but it was like low blows as well. She said, I've been in therapy. I've worked on myself. Like my life, I'm so happy in my life. And I love that for her. But this is a TV show on MTV where we don't need like 30 completely like sane, happy, uh, in their own skin people. Like we need a little bit more messiness, especially when you're cast because you're a messy person. If you're not going to be like, in a way, it's like someone like Jenny West is obviously cast because she's like a physical specimen and can win anything. Naya is like physically strong, but she's not great at the competitions. And when you're giving us nothing in competitions and entertainment, it's just not a good mix.
exactly. Dabu says Michelle's gonna regret choosing Jordan after the mini final. Jordan's likely gonna win the mini final, which is true. It is true.
Yeah.
So yep, Naya's gonna be going home. Michelle has won. She chooses Bananas, who is hiding. He loves hiding. I did chuckle though. We're like, where is he? I did
And he
chuckle,
put his
even though
hat on Aviv's head.
Jordan and Nia Maya. But TJ before Nia left said that you moved a lot of blocks as well, and he was impressed by both of them. Michelle looks so teeny tiny next to Nia though, so Michelle must be like 5'2" or 5'3". Like she looks so small. I want to see her next to Aviv just to see who's taller, because I didn't realize how small Michelle was until I saw her next
Oh,
to Nia.
I definitely Aviv is definitely smaller. I actually met Michelle. I feel like Michelle is not like tall, but I mean Aviv seems like 5 foot, not like 5 foot nothing. I feel like Michelle is probably like 5'3".
Yeah, so yeah, a few inches taller than, but small. 5'3" is pretty small
Yeah,
still
definitely
too.
small. Oh yeah, yeah.
It's teeny, teeny, teeny. That's it for this episode. We do see in the preview, Raviv being hurt. We know it's a mini final and a purge. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Who's our MVP? If there's two.
Well,
Bananas.
what's your prediction? What's your
Oh, prediction?
prediction for the 3 people going home next week. Let's say it's 3. Let's just say it's one male, 1 female purge, and then one of these men going home.
I think that none of the targets are going to end up going home, because I think that somebody else will come in last, or like, you know what I mean? Like, because that's how they're going to be determining who's going to be going into the elimination. So unless they change the format. But I just think that, so maybe it's the last person is going directly into the elimination. But no, if they're purging, maybe there's no elimination at all.
But they still have targets, though.
No, I
That's
know.
so
I'm
I
just trying to
think there
figure out
still
how
will
they would
be.
do that, right? Because like, so is it like the bottom 2 are out immediately, and then the third from last would be going into elimination, so they still have a shot to stay in the game?
That's what I think it's going to be. I think it'll be yeah, the bottom male, bottom female are out, then the second bottom male is in the elimination against one of the 3.
So
It'll
I
be a lot
feel
in one episode.
like the bottom will likely be like, I feel like Theo is, with him being carried like that, I just feel like he must get purged, or maybe he's going to go into elimination. Who else is left? Oh, we've got Derek there. I don't know. Like, I know that Derek was stronger in All Stars 4. It seemed like he was really fast, and like we were pretty impressed by him. But he did so poorly in that daily that I would think that maybe he's going to come in either last or be purged. And if he does come in last, I could very easily see Bananas, Nehemiah, or Jordan beating him in whatever the elimination is. I could see that a likely case. So at this point, I feel like all the targets are going to be going home, are going to be staying in the game, and it'll be 2 of the other men that will be going home. So maybe a Josh and a Theo, or maybe a Josh and a Derek. And then out of the women, bottom, I think probably be Olivia. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Olivia, Derek, and Theo is kind of where I'm sitting right now.
I'm gonna say Olivia and Theo go home hand in hand. They get purged together. The lovebirds go off vacationing somewhere.
Actually, that makes sense
And
for their storyline, right?
yeah, I could just see that happening for sure, especially Theo having like the disadvantage, whatever it is. And then I think the male elimination will be yeah, probably Josh is the second most likely to go in, to come in last.
Yes, we
I'll
had a
say
little bit of
Josh
technical
goes.
difficulties. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say Josh goes into the elimination against Bananas, and Banana sends Josh home. So I'll say
Oh,
Josh. Is that
I
what
could
you
see
said
that.
too? Josh, Theo, and Olivia? Or you said
Yeah.
Derek? Did you say Derek or
Oh,
Josh?
I said, yeah. Well, I said I was toying between the 2 of them, but well, I don't know what I settled on in the end, but I could see that being the case. Theo, Olivia, and yeah, maybe Josh. And you think that Banana's going to send him home? Okay, I could
Yeah,
see that.
I think Bananas will go into the elimination. Jordan will win the daily, and unless Rachel or Laurel wins the daily, Bananas will be going in against. Or I guess maybe Jenny. Maybe Bananas won't go in, but I'm gonna say Bananas beats Josh though, and Tori wins
Yeah,
the
because
daily with Jordan.
if Jordan wins, I do think that Bananas will be more likely to be going into the elimination, just the arena, just because he kind of he threw the grenade. And so I think that Jordan would be like, well, you started this. So yeah, I do think Bananas is
Yeah.
going in. And if Josh is the second worst male, then yeah, you go against each other. I agree with Dark Howlers here with this MVP. What do you think? Do you agree?
Say Bananas. Definitely Bananas. Say for the women, yeah, probably Rachel or Jenny. I might lean Jenny
I guess Jenny,
slightly.
she was not quiet about how she felt in elimination, which was great.
Yeah, I also think like Jenny did better. Like had power here, and
she
Jenny's gonna
made
be
the right move.
safe now. Yeah, Jenny's safe. So I think Jenny is probably who I would go for the women. Also, like Jenny felt wronged by. Oh, I guess Nia was the one she wanted. She didn't want Nia to go home, so that's not great for Jenny.
But I
But
don't think that
yeah, Rachel
anybody.
or Jenny.
I don't think that the ladies of leisure are going to be able to really retaliate. I think Jenny's pretty protected. Her alliance is a lot stronger female wise anyways, so I think that she's in a better position.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so Bananas and Jenny. You're going to say
Jenny
something?
or Rachel. I'm good with either.
I agree with Jenny. She did win that daily. It would have been really annoying if Tori had won it. So I'm happy that Jenny was able to win this one. She got what she wanted in the sense of who she wanted to go into the elimination. But I don't. She said she doesn't really care either way. So I'll give it to Jenny. I like it. That's it. Anything else have going on, or what do you have? Anything else to say? Talked a long time today.
Now that
I gotta go watch Survivor. Survivor's been pretty good, huh? I have to say.
Yeah, I haven't been that into it this season, to be honest.
Maybe it's because I know
I don't
so
know
many
why.
people on it, but
I think I'm just like getting a bit of new era fatigue right now.
I can hear that.
So I'm
This
just
is
kind
the
of like
best of
waiting
the
for
new era,
season
I think.
50.
I do think this is the
Really?
best of the new era. How many more episodes? We're guessing 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's gonna. The final will be episodes 17 and 18 is my guess, and then we'll get like 1920 reunion.
Yeah, the new era is boring, but I would say, in my opinion, this is the best new era season by far. By far.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the
Anyways,
season with Marianne. That I think that's my
42.
favorite.
It
Yeah,
was okay.
I like that one.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us here live in the chat. Thank you, Matthew, for being here with me. Please, everybody, subscribe to the channel, like this video. Let us know who you think the MVP should be. Let us know who you think is going to be losing, who's going to be purged next episode, who's going to be eliminated in the arena. No spoilers, only speculation. Please just let us know what you think, and we can continue the conversation in the comment box below. Till next time, everybody. Bye.